Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today, well, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm Jamie, and today I'm gonna do a TBR for March, and also sort of a haul. It's complicated. I probably won't get to read all of the books that are on here, but I will show you all of them aspirationally in hopes that I will. So there are two books that I don't have yet because they're still coming in the mail. One of them I pre-ordered through a local bookstore, and it's A Dowry of Blood. Um, and it's sort of a polyamorous vampire horror story, which I've heard so many interesting things about, and I'm excited to get it. And yeah, it's unofficially officially on here. And then the second one is used and coming through Amazon because I found the third book in this series used, but not the second, so I just have the third one. And I'm waiting for the second, which is System of the World by Neil Stevenson, third book in the Baroque Cycle, and the second book is The Confusion. And these are really big, chunky boys. And I don't know, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Neil Stevenson. I think I would definitely punch him if I saw him. I would drop an anvil on him like Looney Tunes style, but I still think that I can learn from his style, if that makes any sense. And I definitely really liked Quicksilver, which is the first book in this series. As you may have guessed from the name, the Baroque Cycle, it's set in the Baroque period, but there's like alchemy and like weird subversive magic going on as these characters try to traverse, the dangerous world of the late 1600s, which is a pretty grimy and fun place to be, and I really enjoy the way that he fleshes it out here. So I'll get to this when I get to it, which is probably when the other one shows up. Next, I have The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters. I know it's about dragons. That's pretty much it. And I'm sorry, it's about the rage of them. I couldn't forget about that part. Um, yeah, another kind of thick boy. Uh, Charlie Jane Anders, The City in the Middle of the Night. I bought this from a local bookstore at the same time as I got The Rage of Dragons. And I know that this one's like set on a world that's split in between, halfway between day and night, and there's a city, in the middle of the night, I'm assuming. And I know that the author is trans, so that made me want to get this more. Um, because I'm biased towards my own kind. I mean, being trans myself, I always want to get stuff that other trans people have written. So, and then we have a sequel novella, "The Drowned Country" by Emily Tesh, which is a sequel to "Silver in the Wood," um, which has fairies in it. It's kind of that woodland magic sort of aesthetic, and I don't honestly remember that much about the first one because I read it like about a year ago. So I probably will go back through the first one very quickly because they're both pretty short, and I know that there's gay romance in it. And I remember liking the first one when I read it, just like not much specifics that I can pull out for you. Then I have The High King's Golden Tongue by Megan Dare, and I'm a little conflicted on this because I haven't heard that much about it except for I made a Reddit post a while ago asking for lesser known romance recommendations, and it just sounds so trashy. I'm not gonna lie, like not in a disparaging, like I don't mean to disparage trash, but it sounds like something that it just sounds like something that could be a guilty pleasure, but I don't know if it's good or not. Um, there's like a king and his male consort and some kind of like political thing. I'm still cautiously looking forward to reading it because I do kind of like trash sometimes. And then I have a nonfiction book. It's not a fictional story, and it's Steering the Craft by Ursula K. Le Guin. I write a lot, and one thing I don't really do very often is read books about writing, because sometimes I just feel like, I don't know, it's too prescriptive. Like, I don't know who they're talking to, like, where are you from, like, where are you coming from, and what is your audience supposed to be? But this book is, it's fairly short, and it's by Ursula K. Le Guin, who I trust, because I love a lot of her stuff, and I'm hoping that it uh, has some kind of good message I can take away from it. And likewise, I have another book here by her, The Tombs of Atuan, which is the second book in the Earthsea series. Uh, and I really liked the first Earthsea book. Like, I know it has a little bit of a simplistic style, but I think that was right for what it was. I really liked that overhead, like, retrospective tone that it took, and how it laid out the world, and I hope that the second one is like the first one. And then I have, for school, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I'm reading this for a thesis class that I'm in, because we're talking about different ways that history and literature intersect, and like the difference between gossip and like what normatively is considered history. So this book, although it isn't really historical fiction or nonfiction, uh, I've read it before, and I do think it exemplifies a lot of the themes that we're talking about. So I'm interested to read it again and see if I have any new, fresh, hot takes 4 or so years in the future from the last time I read it. And this was a little bit of an impulse because it's not even on my TBR and I don't really know very much about it, but this is called Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbin, and I got it immediately after I legally got my name changed because I was feeling like impulsive and I just sort of wandered around and bought stuff. Actually, if there's a sponsor to this video, it's me getting my name changed, because I wouldn't have bought like 90% of these without that happening. And you know how it is, euphoria just makes you want to do stuff. So yeah, just got a bunch of shit. This is, I think, a romance novel, and there's two dudes on the cover, so. And then we have one that I'm genuinely very excited for, because I've heard nothing but good things about this, and it sounds right up my alley, because I'm always looking for gay leads in actual science fiction books. As much as I love romance, I love science fiction and fantasy, and sometimes these two worlds that are separate, I want, you know, gay fiction and like sci-fi fantasy to be able to intersect in a meaningful way, and I hope that that happens here, which is Winter's Orbit by Evarina Maxwell. um, I have heard nothing but praise for this. There's like kind of a marriage of convenience, arranged marriage trope going on, and like intergalactic politics and things like that. Um, and I've just been excited to read this since I heard about it. It's been on my TBR, I think, literally since the book was announced that it was going to be released. So, like, solidly a year and a half. It's just been on there waiting for it to come out. So I did have to get this. I mean, what else was I going to do, say no? And this one, The Burning God by R.F. Kong. The last book in the Poppy War trilogy. Um, I'm gonna be real, I like hesitate to read this a little bit because all I see online are people like, oh, this made me so sad. And I'm like, what am I gonna do, you know? Because I'm an Alton stan, and if he's not in it that much, that's besides the point. But if he's not in it that much, I'm gonna be annoying. Even though he's dead, I want them to bring him up. If Chagan's not in this, I'm gonna be annoyed. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have to finish this. I have to see exactly what happens at the end, exactly what happened that made so many people upset or like, have emotions. Like, I don't think it's going to be bad, like as in badly written, but I am wary of the emotional impact that this might have. So I hesitate. And this was recommended to me by one of my housemates, and we have this book just in the house. I didn't get this. It's A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. Um, and it's something with like a journal being found and like something like two different gaps of time, like the person writing the journal and the person sending it. Uh, and I feel like it's more like a literary fiction book. So I do like literary fiction, and I'm interested to see what that premise holds because my friend has just been like, yeah, it's really good. It's one of the best books. And I was like, well, okay, I may as well. And in that similar vein, um, the same friend also has been telling me to read The Secret History, and I I keep taking The Secret History on and off of my TBR because I put it on because it has like I don't know dark academia stuff, and then I took it off because somebody told me like, oh, something bad happens to the gay character in it, and I was like, well, I don't want to read that, and then I put it back on because X, Y, or Z. Took it off, and then a few months ago, I saw a Twitter post that was like, nobody told me this book was this funny. And I was like, I don't know what book this is, but I'm going to look at this picture. And I clicked on it, and it was like somebody's funeral, and there was like balloons, and it had a number on it. And it was like, oh, I didn't know he was that old. And then another character was like, no, that's his football number. And I was like, okay, that's fucking funny. And I realized it was from this book, and I was like, okay, if it's that fucking funny, I don't care. I'm gonna have to read it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, but I'm gonna have to do it. And again, we just had it in the house, so. And then I have another Neil Stevenson book, another big thick boy. This is Anathem. I am very familiar with this cover because it used to look at me down from the bookshelf pretty much every single day as a kid because this is like one of my dad's favorite books. And it would just stare at me, and I didn't know what it was about, but I'm about to find out. I think it has math in it, which I'm not like jazzed about, but if I can understand the main storyline outside of the math thing, then it's fine. I just read the back cover and I like didn't understand what was going on, but that's like par for the course, you know. And I like things that hurt my brain. I like things that feel spiky, like a big sea urchin inside my head when I try to read them. So you have three books that I didn't get to in last month's prospective TBR, and that's Master of One, uh, The Grey House, and The Name of All Things. And I feel like I just did not get to them because they were at one end of my bookcase, and for no reason at all. I was just going from like left to right, and they were all the way on the right, and I just didn't get there in time. And I'm still reading, but closer to being done with The Bone Shard Daughter, which I think is awesome so far. So that probably will be included in my wrap up for March, because I did start it in February, but I've read most of it in March so far. But yeah, thank you for watching this, and I will surely let everybody know what I think of all of these. If you have an opinion on any of these, then let me know, because I like to hear that, and yeah.